What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to talk about some titles that I feel like are pretty likely to come out on 4K from Disney in the very near future. So, of course, this week, guys, I talked about on the Physical Media Report, we got the announcement of Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven coming to 4K. It's getting a 4K steelbook from Disney. A few weeks ago, we got Tombstone announcement to come to 4K. It's getting a 4K steelbook from Disney. We got Signs and the Sixth Sense last year on 4K from Disney. We recently got an announcement of Lilo and Stitch on 4K as well. So it does feel like Disney is starting to pay attention to some of its back catalog stuff, and not just its own stuff, like its own like Disney stuff, but like the Touchstone stuff, the Hollywood Pictures stuff, the Fox stuff, which is super important. They freaking purchased Fox back in 2019, but they seem to only pay attention to like the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise, it feels like. But they're making progress. Look, I'll give credit where credit is due. They are making progress. Now, I still don't feel like they've opened up the floodgates. Maybe if they release all the titles I'm getting ready to talk about in the next year, that's opening up the floodgates. But I do feel like they've turned the hose on, turned the faucet on to a light trickle. I do feel like it's a light trickle right now, and we're starting to see these titles trickle out there. Look, it's exciting, honestly, and it makes me more optimistic than I was 6 months ago about Disney, because I've been very hard on Disney on this channel. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some titles that I think are both likely to come out on 4K, and also some maybe a little like wishful thinking as well. But they're titles that I think will sell well, regardless of if Disney, you know, thinks these are titles that's going to sell well. If they're actually going to put these out, they're titles that I think that people would really pop for, and I think they would sell like thousands of copies on 4K. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. I've got a stack of 20. I've got some stuff that I actually don't have in the collection that I'm going to talk about as well. But before we get into it, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below, because I'm going to go through some titles, but there is so much that Disney is holding on to that they could put out on 4K. They could license some of this stuff out to boutique labels, and I may talk about that in here as well, like some of these titles, what label would I like to see them go through, because Disney and Sony can't do all this stuff themselves. They just can't, because if they're only doing like one steelbook a month, they would never get all these titles out, at least the ones that we want. We need them to open up the floodgates, not just for themselves to do like $50 4K steelbooks of, but they need to open up the floodgates to Kino. They need to open up the floodgates to Arrow Video, Criterion, Shout Factory. So some of these titles can go to some of these labels and get the appropriate editions that they deserve. Because like some of these like could get such cool like box set editions from some of these boutique labels. And again, it's like I don't want 4K steelbooks that cost $60, $50, $40, whatever it is, from Disney for all of these movies and sell out within what, like a week or so. I just ranted about this on the Physical Media Report, guys, so it's kind of like fresh in my mind. But anyway, guys, a lot of cool titles to talk about, but I can't talk about everything. There's so much. Let me know some of your picks that you want to see come to 4K, or maybe even Blu-ray. Maybe there's some titles that haven't gotten Blu-rays. There's one I can think of off the top of my head, Splash, with Daryl Hannah, Tom Hanks, directed by Ron Howard. Doesn't have a Blu-ray. Doesn't have an official Blu-ray. I've got a bootleg, but it doesn't have an official Blu-ray here in the States. It needs a nice like 4K steelbook. That could be awesome for Splash. But let me know your list down below, because again, I can't cover everything. I'm only covering about 20 titles in today's video. But let's just jump into it. So these two that I'm going to talk about first, we've already kind of heard rumblings that these are going to be coming soon. So I would anticipate we'll get announcements for both of these in 2025. But Armageddon and Conair, like these are huge ones for me. Like just personally, I watched these movies so many times as a kid. They were two of my favorite like action movies as a kid. You got one directed by Michael Bay. You got a Nicolas Cage classic right here. I freaking love Conair. Like this is just one of my like favorite movies, but also Armageddon. Watch these movies so many times. And if they get like nice 4K steelbooks from Disney, I don't care if they're $70, I will buy them both. But they can do so many cool things with the artwork on both of these, and I would definitely love to have like really nice editions of both of these films in the collection. And another film I want to talk about real quick before I move on is Pretty Woman, which I did not have on my list, but I'm just thinking of it right now. There was a rumor for that one also. to come to 4K. So that's one that I could see coming out pretty soon as well. And that's a Touchstone film. But this next one, guys, I've talked about this so many times. So many times. Like, if we don't get this soon, I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, the 30th anniversary for this film is next year, so maybe they'll wait on that. But The Rock, like, we need a nice edition of The Rock. We need a 4K of The Rock. Like, please, for the love of God, Disney, somebody do this. Give it to somebody. Give it to Arrow Video. Like, that would be freaking awesome. An Arrow Video box set of The Rock. But this is a must. Like, we have to have The Rock on 4K. One of the greatest action films of the 90s. I watched this so many times as a kid. I went without watching this for a while. I rewatched it I think a couple of years ago, and damn, it blew me away all over again. I was like, this is like way better than I even remember. And I remember loving it. But like, this movie, just one of the greatest action films of all time. Fantastic cast. Sean Connery, Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage. Like, this is just, again, you guys can have your face-offs. Like, I'll take The Rock like any day of the week. And it's another Michael Bay film. Michael Bay, like, he got a bad rap with the Transformers films. He had so many bangers in the 90s, it's not even funny. And The Rock was one of them. So I cannot wait to get a 4K of The Rock. Hopefully this is on their list to do very soon from Disney. Next up, guys, we got to get at least these two on 4K, but they may do all 5 of them on 4K. But we got Die Hard 2, and we got Die Hard with a Vengeance. So we just had these on Blu-ray. We got the first one on 4K, of course, because Fox put that one out. And I'm sure if Fox didn't get bought up by Disney, they would have put these two out as well, but they didn't get the opportunity. Now, look, Die Hard 2, it's directed by Renny Harlin. Renny Harlin's getting a lot of 4K love recently. And then I think Die Hard with a Vengeance, wasn't that also direct? Yeah, also, I think John McTiernan came back to do Die Hard with a Vengeance. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen both of these. I'll be completely honest, I'm not like the biggest Die Hard fan in the world, but these are just two like really popular action sequels that people would go nuts over for sure. So they have to do these at some point. They got to do some kind of box set maybe of the first 3, but maybe they add Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard, because those never got 4Ks either. But yeah, definitely ones that I think that people would be super excited to upgrade to 4K. And next up, guys, look, I watched this recently. I am not a big fan of this Alien sequel, but I do think it needs to be upgraded to 4K because it's a part of the franchise. Alien 3. We just got Aliens on 4K. This was directed by David Fincher. So, I mean, he's been doing a lot of 4K upgrades, so maybe he'd be willing to do this one on 4K, maybe add in the assembly cut as well. But yeah, we got Aliens. We need at least Alien 3. Now, Alien Resurrection, we don't need that at all. I don't need Alien Resurrection at all. Like, that's my least favorite Alien film. There's some merit to Alien 3, but I don't really like this one either, if I'm being honest. But I know that there are fans of Alien 3, in particular the assembly cut. So I think that you put this one out 4K Steelbook and do both cuts on 4K if you can. But yeah, Alien 3 definitely needs a 4K. Next up, we got a new Tron film coming out this year, so it makes sense to do Tron the original. Tron the original classic is what this Blu-ray says right here. Now, I heard a rumor that they were going to do Tron Legacy on 4K, but I don't think they mentioned the first one on 4K. So they definitely need to do the first one before they do Legacy and before the new one comes out, Tron Ares for sure. But yeah, Tron definitely needs to come out on 4K from Disney. This is a pretty big one, guys. This is a pretty big one. This is a Tim Burton film. And look, if Fox was still a thing by itself, we would have already seen this on 4K. I know we would have. But Edward Scissorhands, like, come on, like, Beetlejuice is super popular again. So like this one and Beetlejuice just kind of go hand in hand. I always loved Beetlejuice. I didn't love Edward Scissorhands like I love that, but there's no doubt that like when both of these movies came out, like they were just, I feel like they just kind of went together in people's minds. So Edward Scissorhands needs to come out on 4K from Disney. Whether you do a 4K Steelbook, a slipcover, you just need to put this one out on 4K, because I know a lot of people, especially with the whole like winter aesthetic and the town, like this is one that even though I'm not like the biggest fan of the movie, I feel like this movie would look so freaking good on 4K. It would look phenomenal on 4K. Edward Scissorhands. So definitely need a nice 4K edition of the Scissorhands. For sure. Also, The Rocketeer, that is one that I do remember watching a lot. when I was a kid, but I do not own that in the collection. I feel like that one only got a Blu-ray release as a part of the Disney Movie Club, so that's why I never got it. But the Rocketeer, 100%, that's an iconic, like that's Iron Man before Iron Man. Like that was the superhero movie, I feel like, when I was a kid. And I feel like the Rocketeer was Touchstone. I don't even know if it was Disney proper or not. I think it was a Touchstone film. That is one that they could remake though. Like they could remake that and do something really cool with it. I don't know if people would just see it as like a knockoff of Iron Man or something, but like the Rocketeer is good. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it. It's got a great score as well. But yeah, that's one I think would look awesome on 4K, and that's one they definitely need to do on 4K for sure. And next up, guys, we've got another David Fincher movie, but an actual like really good David Fincher movie, and that's Fight Club. And we've heard rumors of Fight Club coming to 4K in the past, but nothing like super concrete. So hopefully we're getting this one pretty soon. And this would be Disney that would put this one out. So I don't know, like, I don't know if Disney would let, I don't know if Fincher would let Disney get away with just doing a 4K Steelbook. I feel like, maybe he would want to do like a digipack. He likes the digipacks. So maybe this will be like a digipack 4K release from Disney. Who knows? Maybe also a 4K Steelbook. I do hope at some point, guys, Disney and Sony, they give us better options, 4K standard and a 4K Steelbook. We need that. We need that. But yeah, Fight Club, iconic movie, absolutely iconic 90s, mystery thriller, whatever you want to call it. But we definitely need this on 4K for sure. And I think the people would go nuts for it. This is a huge one. So Shout Factory put out a Blu-ray of this, and I think it's since gone out of print because they're not allowed to put it out anymore because it was a Fox title bought by Disney, yada, yada, yada. I don't have the Shout Factory version because I didn't realize it was owned by Disney for a while or Fox. So I just assumed that Shout Factory would upgrade it to 4K. So I never bought it. And then it went out of print. At least I think. I don't know if you can still get it or not. Maybe you can. But I'm talking about Big Trouble in Little China. Let me pull it out and quit rambling. Big Trouble in Little China. This is definitely a fan favorite. I think a lot of people love this movie, and I think a lot of people would be super excited to get this one in 4K. It's definitely like top tier, like in my comment section when people are talking about 4Ks they want. It's Big Trouble in Little China because Shout Factory's done so many, with Scream Factory, so many Carpenter movies on 4K. And we've seen so many Carpenter films come to 4K, but Big Trouble in Little China is like one of the last like big holdouts from that. And it's because it's owned by Disney, guys. That's the big reason. It's a Fox title and it's owned by Disney. But yeah, Big Trouble in Little China, guys. Great, great Carpenter flick, mid 80s. I think this came out in 1986. Kurt Russell is just freaking at the top, at the peak of his game, I feel like, in 1986 with Big Trouble in Little China. Just so charismatic, so fun in the movie. But yeah, this movie's got like a really cool like visual style, and you got all the costumes and stuff. And I think it would look so good on 4K. So this was one that we definitely need to come to 4K sooner rather than later. Also, Pearl Harbor, guys. Look, say what you want. Michael Bay again, guys. Say what you want about Pearl Harbor. I actually like Pearl Harbor. I remember seeing this in the theaters. This one came out in 2001 and really enjoying it. And it was kind of, trying to capitalize off of the whole like, real life disaster, and they insert this fictional love story in there. Kind of like what Titanic did. So it was trying to do the same thing that Titanic did. And you had Josh Hartnett, you had Ben Affleck, and who was the girl in here? It was what's her name? Kate Beckinsale. Cuba Gooding Jr. is also in this film. But I think Pearl Harbor's great. And I think that the action and the set piece moments and all this stuff in this movie would just look so good in 4K. Nice Dolby Atmos audio track as well. And I think that Pearl Harbor is absolutely necessary on 4K. Even if you think like the beginning love story stuff is a little ridiculous, just fast forward to the bombing, problem solved. But Pearl Harbor needs a 4K for sure. Hopefully that one is high up on the Disney Sony list. Now this next one would be a good pick for the Criterion Collection because they've done a lot of this these directors' films on 4K, and that is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Or Shout Factory could do this as well because they did Fargo, but I think Criterion would be a good spot to plant Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's definitely not one that I feel like would sell like a $50 steelbook, so license this one out. But this is a great movie. George Clooney. You've got, of course, John Turturro in this film, Tim Blake Nelson. Like this is This is pretty iconic at this point. Like just the music and the song of this film, which I'm not going to sing. Pretty iconic. John Goodman in this film is great also, but yeah, and this is another one that I just feel like would look so good in 4K. And I've still just got this one on DVD, guys. I haven't upgraded this one to Blu-ray yet, but I do love this movie, and I would definitely shell out for a nice 4K edition of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which is a Fox title, I believe. Oh no, Touchstone. Touchstone. It's a Touchstone title. All right, next up, guys, we've got Fox again, and that is Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes needs a 4K. That's such a big iconic film. How have we not already got this? Like, I don't get it. Like, why didn't Fox do this when they were doing all the Apes like movies back in the day? At least the first one. Like, this is the multi-pack of like all the Apes movies right here. But why didn't they at least do the first one when they were putting out Rise and Planet of the Apes? Or no, was it Rise, Dawn? Well, Rise and Dawn, there wasn't 4K then. But when War came out, there was 4K. They should have put this out on 4K when those were coming out. But yeah, Planet of the Apes, iconic. Now, I did hear, wasn't there news about this one getting a 4K restoration to go to theaters? So this one has got to be getting a physical at some point for sure. They got it because they're still doing Apes movies. They just did Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes last year. So this one feels like a no-brainer. Yeah, this one needs a 4K pretty soon. And next up is this is another Fox. I feel like most of the titles that we've covered are Fox, even though there was some Touchstone stuff in there as well. But I just watched this for the first time. I actually just finished watching this morning, and I freaking loved it. This was a big Arnold Schwarzenegger gap for me, and it's finally filled in, so it feels good. But Commando 100% needs a 4K. This is incredible. This movie, like, the entire movie isn't like huge action spectacle, but like the last 30 minutes, like, is just full on like action spectacle explosions and just so freaking cool. But this is one that will look so good in 4K for sure. Like even the smaller stuff, like the car chase stuff, the mall sequence, like there's smaller sequences in here that would also look really good in 4K as well. But yeah, this was an Arnold one that was a huge gap for me, and I freaking loved it. And I loved it so much, I was like, I got to talk about this one. It's a Fox title, and it needs a 4K. But again, I don't know if this is one that Disney could put out on a 4K steelbook for $50 and sell like, thousands of copies. Maybe they could. Maybe they could. I feel like people would be excited about it. I feel like this one would fit much better with Arrow Video. Nice like Arrow Video box set. Like that would be awesome for Commando. And this really doesn't have like any special features. It's only got like trailers and stuff. So I would love to see like new features for Commando for sure. But yeah, this is definitely a new Arnold Schwarzenegger classic for me. Really loved it. Now it was very much Arnold just trying to do Rambo. Like that's kind of what it was, but it was still great. It was still great for sure. And I did love Commando, and that one does need a 4K from Disney. And let's talk about four more, guys. We got four more to talk about here. Let's talk about the Sandlot. Which is a Fox title. This is also a Fox title. Iconic kids film. What can you say about the Sandlot? We need Wendy Peppercorn in 4K. Okay, that's just straight up. We need Wendy Peppercorn in 4K. But yeah, the Sandlot baseball movie. There's a lot of baseball movies on 4K. Like we could definitely use the Sandlot on 4K for sure. I'll throw Rookie of the Year in there as well. I don't even know if Disney owns Rookie of the Year. I feel like they probably do. I want a 4K of that. But also the Sandlot, just an icon. I'd say that this is the quintessential like kids baseball movie. And everybody loves this. And I think that most people will be excited if this got announced for 4K for sure. Now, this next one might be in my top 5 favorite comedies of all time. I freaking love this movie. It's a Robin Williams film, and that is Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, look, I know that there's people out there, it's like, we don't need comedies on 4K. I get it. We just got Uncle Buck on 4K, and that looked amazing. I think they could do the same thing for Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, maybe give this to Kino because they're doing all the comedies and stuff. Give Mrs. Doubtfire to Kino, add a couple new features in there, and there you go. But I need Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire in 4K, just one of my all-time favorite movies, and I would completely go nuts if they announced this for 4K for sure. And this one's also a Fox title. Again, we got a lot of Fox stuff in this stack. And next up, guys, another Fox title. We got Home Alone 2, Escape from New York. Of course we need Home Alone 2. We got Home Alone years ago. Was that back in 2020? So they need to do Home Alone 2. Finally, give us the second one on 4. We don't need any of the other ones. I don't need 3 or 4 or Home Again or whatever the hell it's called. just the second one. Lost in New York. If you want to do a steelbook, fine. You know, do the New York City skyline on the back, all that stuff. Duncan's toy chest on the back. It could be a cool steelbook. Okay, I'm not saying it couldn't, but also do a slipcover as well. Be nice to the people out there, guys. Home Alone 2, though, needs a 4K. People have been waiting for this since the first one came out because, look, as great as Home Alone is, and I get it, Home Alone 2 is kind of a remake of Home Alone. It kind of follows familiar beats. This one will always be my favorite. I freaking love this one so much, just because everything that it adds. Duncan's toy chest, the hotel with Tim Curry, Rob Schneider. Home Alone 2 will always be the best Home Alone movie to me. So it's like, as much as I love the first one, it's got the 4K. This one doesn't. That's just ridiculous to me. We need Home Alone 2 on 4K. So Disney, Sony, make it happen. And lastly, guys, I feel like I don't think anybody's really talked about this one, but I think that this is one that a lot of people look back pretty fondly on. And it's a Denzel Washington movie, and that's Remember the Titans. And this is just a Disney film straight up. So they definitely need to do Remember the Titans on 4K, because this is one that I think in their back catalog that if they're going to sell a lot of 4K copies of, and even maybe a 4K Steelbook, I think this is the one to do it, because I feel like when this one came out, it was all over the place. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was watching it. Everybody was quoting it. Like, I just remember this being like a really big movie, and I still feel like people talk about this one to this day. So yeah, Remember the Titans, I think definitely needs that 4K upgrade from Disney. But there you have it, guys. That's the movies that I wanted to talk about here today. Definitely leave your picks down below in the comment section. There is so much, guys, so much that Disney has and owns that they're holding out on us. Beverly Hillbillies, I want that on 4K. But let me know your picks in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.